Hey everyone, without Michal here this week, I am in LA for an Unpacking Israeli History live show with Ronen Bergman. I'm super pumped for it. It's happening tomorrow night. And I'm pumped to be here also because I get to record in person with today's very special guest, Jonah Platt. Let me say who Jonah is, though, okay? Jonah is an actor. He's an artist, an advocate for Israel and the Jewish people. And you're a fellow podcast host.
Yes, sir.
And we did a podcast together on being Jewish with Jonah Platt.
That's right.
And that was a lot of fun.
Sure
It
was.
was a lot of fun. And so it's awesome to swap seats now for me to be in the chair that I get to ask the questions and to pepper you with questions. Do you remember something I said to you when I was on your podcast? I said, what's the difference between being a good guest and a good host?
Yeah.
And I said, the difference is, I will tell you if you forgot.
I remember what I said.
What'd you say?
That the guest doesn't have to do
Do
it.
any work.
Yeah.
No work.
That's the best part.
The host has to prep.
I just showed up.
You just show up and I'm interested and you get to be interesting. That's the whole idea.
Let's hope so.
Let's do it. Exactly. So Jonah, you have a very famous public persona.
It's I wouldn't call it very
Okay.
famous.
In the Jewish world, what celebrity would you say? A, B, C, D, what are you?
A Jewish world, I'm like a B.
That's it. That's okay. So that's great.
I'll take a B Jew.
A B Jewish celebrity. But what are the things that you've done? I want to talk to you all about your Jewish journey, everything that you do about being Jewish with Jonah Platt, like how we got there. But what are the things that you've done? You told me you did a show in front of 18,000 people 3 different times. What was that show?
So now we're talking pre-Jewish era.
Pre that.
Yes. So that show that you're talking about was in 2014. I had the amazing good fortune to be in a production of the musical Hair at the Hollywood Bowl.
Cool.
Historic venue, 18,000 people, and did it 3 times. And it's, outdoors. It's amazing. That show Hair, everybody's on stage together the whole time. Amazing vibe. I got to be naked in one part of it.
You got some.
Yes. So
You got to be.
I got to be. So So my wife, I met doing this show.
Okay. Before she saw it or after she saw it?
We got married after.
Okay.
Right? So she was one of the dancers. She was the dance captain. I was one of the principals, so like one of the named character actors. None of the named character actors were supposed to get naked, and all the dancers were supposed to get naked. My wife goes, I'm absolutely not getting naked. And I go, can I please get naked? So that's me and my wife in a nutshell.
That's great. Okay. That is very different than the way my wife and I met. So I'm happy this is a great story.
It worked out.
And you have children.
We have 3 children.
How old are they?
6.5, almost 3, 5 months.
Wow. Congrats on the 5 months.
Thank you. She's doing awesome.
Okay. Boys, girls.
Boy, girl, girl.
Boy, girl, girl. So I am boy, girl, girl, girl.
That you have?
I have 4 kids. Boy,
girl,
girl, girl.
Wow.
I'm just telling you. I'm just saying. Because
Yeah.
you're boy, girl, girl.
Yeah.
You might also end up being boy, girl, girl, girl. Anything's possible. Anything.
I likely wouldn't, because both my second and third child, both my daughters, as my wife likes to say, were made in a dish.
Okay.
And so we chose girls.
Oh.
And I think if we were going to have a 4th, which I don't think we are,
Anything's
anything's possible. I would probably push for a boy.
Okay.
Just to balance the scales a little bit. But even as I'm saying this out loud, my wife's like, absolutely not.
And
Like, I just hear her like, no way. But I say never say never. Like, let's wait a year. She's only 5 months. Like,
Okay.
let's see how we feel.
Do you consider yourself a girl dad? If you have a son?
Hell yeah.
No, but if you have a son, you get to be a girl dad.
Of course.
No, I don't think that's as simple as that.
It's definitely that simple. No, I'm a dad with a girl. I'm a girl dad. No,
I don't think so.
you think it's strictly girl?
I
it's a
think
girl dad.
my older brother, has 4 daughters. He's like, I'm a girl dad. You know him. You have a son and 3 daughters, so you're not a girl dad.
I reject that. I reject it
You
wholeheartedly.
reject the premise.
I reject the premise.
Okay.
I get to be both a boy dad and a girl dad.
Okay, done.
Yeah.
That has been solved. Let's talk about, so this is your father of 3. You met your wife when you were naked.
Yeah.
And now we get to the story of being Jewish with Jonah Platt. And here's my question. Why are you so obsessed with being Jewish?
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
Why am I so obsessed?
Why are you so obsessed?
I'm obsessed because somebody has to be. That's honestly some part, like that's that's the truth. It's like, this is the moment, it was already, let me say this another way. Things have been crappy for Jews before October 7th.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we were all hunky-dory, everything's perfect, and then out of the blue, oh my God, all this hate and violence and blah. I don't need to tell you the statistics on anti-Jew hate in this country were like doubling, like year after year after year. Just not everybody was really paying attention to it or taking it seriously. I was one of the people noticing that and taking it seriously. So already I've sort of been in the space and been paying attention, and I'm a naturally curious person who likes to self-educate. So I've been curious about Israel and Judaism and life and things and in consuming things. Then October 7th happens, and it just felt so natural to be spending all of my time and energy in this space where it was so needed, where what could be more important when our backs are against the wall and like the rug's been pulled out from under us, and I just don't know what else I would be doing. It's sort of crazy to me when you take a step back, you like look at the scale and the stakes of the moment. And at the time, I was literally starring in a play at the time.
Which play?
It's called The Engagement Party. It was at the Geffen Theater, amazing playhouse, actually like 2 miles from where we're sitting right now, that I'd always wanted to perform at. And I got to do this incredible play, amazing people, amazing director. And I was so glad to be in that play because, it'd be craziness online, October 7th things by day, and then I'd get to put it away for an hour at night. But as soon as I finished that play, it was like, well, I have X amount of hours to spend today. Am I going to spend them like prepping this audition to be a guest star on season 27 of Grey's Anatomy, be a guy with a nail in his hand?
Just saying, my wife would really have appreciated it.
I know, my wife did. She's watched it like 9
she's
times.
Still going through it.
Oh, yeah. Or would I be like standing up to like help my people in their great moment of need of my lifetime? It's just like totally no comparison for me.
Right. So 27th season versus here's your opportunity to do something. So it really was, in many ways, you're an October 8th Jewish activist. So you've been, meaning the way you just described it is kind of like forever you come from a family, and I want to get to this in a bit, that cares a tremendous amount about Judaism. This has been part of your life forever. You've been obsessed with Judaism for a very long time. Your family.
My family. Your family. Not me personally. Not obsessed.
So what got you going then? It was October 7th?
It was growing already organically, but the October 7th like really poured gasoline on the fire.
Right.
Just because, and not in a conscious way. It was not like now is the time where I should do this.
Right.
It was like, there's a fire, I got to put it out.
Yeah.
I didn't really think about it.
It's amazing. I just think there's a biblical verse that, if you know me well, this is my obsession. It's called Esther 4:14. So my wife even got me a shirt that says Esther 4:14. It says in Hebrew, it's umio de im la'et kazot higat l'malchut, which means who knows if but for this time you arrived at your position of privilege. Right. So, and this is the lesson that Mordechai says to Esther in the story of Esther. And like, hey, like this is your moment. And I feel like for a number of people, specifically you felt that moment and said, okay, I got to do something about this. And you're doing a lot.
Yeah.
So
that's exactly it.
So thank you. So let me tell you this about, I told you about my children, boy, girl. I have 2 brothers and a sister.
I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you got one more girl kid. I got one more girl sibling.
So we are, we're similar to each other, but we also have some differences. I want to hear a little bit about how you were raised. You just mentioned earlier that you were not obsessed with Judaism, but your family was. And I just want to say this, a fun fact about your family. Your father grew up next door to where my older brother lives right now.
Oh, really?
Yes.
On like literally next door?
Long Meadow.
Wow.
In Pikesville, Maryland.
That's amazing.
So I want to know tell me a little bit more about your family and how you were raised Jewishly.
It's funny because and I'm thinking about it literally right now. The way I was raised is probably, generally speaking, how Jews have long been raised, which is like, you're a Jew. So everything about your life is in some way influenced by that. So I never remember a time not feeling Jewish. The holidays all the time, Jewish day school, Jewish songs, Shabbat every Friday. My parents, my aunts, my uncles and cousins, all equally invested, my parents' generation, all leaders in their Jewish communities, my grandparents, leaders in their Jewish communities, just like who we are. It's just like not even something to think about. It's just, you grow up and you're Jewish and you give back to your community and that's it. So I was steeped in it always. And like every human being, you have to find your own way through the things that you're given as a kid that may or may not end up jiving with the adult that you're going to become. And so I had plenty of rebellious moments. I'm certainly the most rebellious of my five siblings crew.
Yeah, the total of the 5.
Yeah. I was the one, I'm certainly like ditched prayers the most at summer camp and got the most detentions in prayers in the day school and
bad boy.
Yeah,
You want to do the Shema. You weren't down for the Shema.
I wasn't down for, and this is sort of me writ large, is I'm not down for no logic. Like if you're going to tell me you have to do this, I need to understand why I'm doing it in a way that connects with me. Not just we say you have to do this, so you got to do it.
Right.
And I felt like so much of the practice in those spaces is this is just what we do. And as an adult, I'm in a way grateful for that, because if it was up to me, I probably wouldn't have shown up. But I did show up, and now I have all this knowledge, even though it was sort of forced on me that I maybe hated at the time. But like now I know how to wrap tefillin and read the Torah and lead the service and X, Y, and Z.
You have the skills.
I have the skills. I have the literacy. But I was always the one questioning everything, which the good teachers and the good rabbis were like, I like this kid. Like, I want this guy in my class. And the ones who couldn't handle, they were like, get this kid out of my class. I'm trying to teach a lesson. He's asking me all these questions I can't handle.
Yeah, here's the problem. Teachers often forget that the subject is not the content of what you're teaching. The subject is the student that's learning. That should be the subject itself.
Right, say that again.
The subject is not the content of what you're teaching. The subject is the student itself. So if the student is asking questions, that's a good thing. I teach every Shabbat afternoon. I teach a group of 6th and 7th graders, and I teach them Talmud every Shabbat afternoon.
Cool.
And I give awards out at the end. And one of the awards that they all try to get is best question of the day. Not best answer, but best question of the day. I want to know, are you thinking? Are you asking? Are you grappling? Are you wrestling? Are you like, and that's what I think it means to be, or to have a real educational experience, is to actually ask and explore and be curious.
One of these things that feels now, and I can't believe this is the first time I'm like really clicking into it, literally just hearing you talk about that, but my Parsha was Vaishlach for my bar mitzvah.
Can you do it?
Where I can't do it, but I can do the Hot Torah.
Let me hear something.
Chazon Avadia Komar Adonai Elohim Edon Shmuah Shmanu Meit Adonai.
Do you guys hear this?
Asir Bagoyim Shulach Kumu Venakuma Aleha B'Milchama. That's all we got.
That was good.
Thanks.
That was good.
It's in there. I'm a musician, so when I hear like a melody that gets jammed in, it's in there forever.
Oh, that was so good.
Thank you. But that's the Parsha is the story of Jacob wrestling with the angel and struggling with God, and like that's been so much of my relationship to God and to being Jewish.
And let me tell you one more thing about this. This is why we're so connected. We named our daughter Sarit because the verse says that they named him. Kisarita im Elohim ve'anashim v'tuchal, that Jacob wrestled with God and he overcame it, and he was named for the concept of wrestling with.
Right.
So that's why he went from Jacob, Yaakov, to Yisrael. The word Yisrael comes from Kisarita, because you struggled. So we named our daughter Sarit. That's how intense we are as people.
That's pretty intense.
Because you have to go through it. You have to go through the process.
Mm-hmm.
And my 2-year-old Sarit gives us a lot to struggle with, but we love her. We love her.
She's going to be a leader.
We love her. So let's talk about this Jewish identity thing. Why do you think you have been someone that's asserted your Jewish identity? Why do you think a lot of people don't assert your Jewish identity? Why do you think some people do not assert their Jewish identity?
There's a lot of reasons. I think it depends on who you are and who we're talking about. I mean,
what you've seen.
No, but I mean, so there's one camp of people who don't assert it because it's not important to them, and if it's not really how they identify. It's sort of an accident of birth that they don't think about. Then I think there are some who don't assert it because they're afraid. There's a lot of fear. I think it's a very vague. The term I use is like sort of the shape of fear. They can't really. There's no acute fear. It's not like I'm afraid because this one guy in my class keeps looking at me funny. It's I'm afraid something bad's going to happen. But they don't really know what it is. People will reject me. I'll lose an opportunity. Just kind of all these fears, which we have to help people push through. And then I think there's also there's often a fear of like I'm not literate enough. I don't know how to do it right.
Yeah.
I'm going to embarrass myself.
Yeah.
I don't belong. Which is so sad when people have that issue. And I hate that there are Jewish spaces making people feel like they need to have those fears.
Right. There's like a little bit of like shaming and like
Yes.
it's like, oh, you don't know about. Not that anyone's. Are people being explicit about that? Are people explicitly, or is that an implicit thing that makes people feel bad about their lack of Jewish literacy?
I think there's an explicit, people have bad experiences.
Yeah.
Where somebody says to them, or they come into some Jewish space and they're not treated sensitively, and they're like, wow, I did not belong in there. I'm not going to go back in there. And I did one of my first monologues on my show was about the term bad Jew. And there's so many people who go like, oh, I'm a bad Jew because I don't keep kosher. I'm a bad Jew because I don't do this. And like, I hate that idea. It's, a bad Jew is like a Jew who kills a bunch of people. That's a bad Jew. Not because like I didn't learn this prayer because I didn't go to Jewish day school and I haven't learned it yet. Like, it doesn't make you bad. It just means you haven't learned this prayer yet. But I think that stops a lot of people from feeling like they're allowed to take full ownership of their identity, which is a shame.
Yeah, that's great. Have you seen changes since the 7th of October? For you, I'm interested in a little bit. You don't have to like overshare, but if you want to overshare, right? Then your religious practice. How do you think Jewishly? Like you care a lot about Jewish identity. I see that you're wearing a Star of David.
Yeah.
Did you always wear the Star of David?
No.
Oh, this is a
Post October 7th.
This is a post October 7th thing.
Did
you ever consider wearing a kippah on your head or no?
No, I'm not considering a kippah.
Tell me why that one and why the Jewish star. What does this represent to you?
This is more religious. Also less comfortable. Truthfully, just like this, I don't feel or think about, and also like I'm a fidgeter. I can fidget with it. This, it's like clipping into my hair, and like it's gonna fall off, or it's like tight or whatever. But no, I think to what I think your point is like this definitely feels more religious. This feels more like personhood.
This is like peoplehood.
To me, this is more the peoplehood. I am Jewish,
right?
And this is more like I am Jew in a religious sense of being like I'm thinking about God. I mean, that's the purpose of the kippah, is not as an identifier or a connector. It's a respect for the divine,
right?
Which to me is generally, for my Judaism, like the least important aspect.
What's the most important aspect to you?
The most important aspect to me is the values and like the reason why, and the making meaning in life, in this scary, life that can go 100 million ways and could be completely meaningless. And Judaism gives you a roadmap for how to make meaning out of everything at all times in an amazing, beautiful way.
Love that. So let's go down this path a little bit. What's an example where you feel Judaism providing meaning in one's life without having to necessarily be this vertical approach to God, but this horizontal approach to within the Jewish people? Like what might be an example?
I think the easiest example is Shabbat. Like to me, that's the cleanest entry point for like all things Jewish.
You're a Shabbat guy?
Love Shabbat.
Right.
Big Shabbat guy.
Okay.
Who isn't? Everybody loves Shabbat.
Shabbat's awesome.
Shabbat is awesome, and
awesome.
every non-Jew I've ever had with Shabbat's like, oh my God, like what have I been missing out on? I'm gonna have a Shabbat because it's spiritual, and of course there are religious pieces of it, but it's so much about gratitude and being present and taking stock of what's important, and this separation between the rest of the week and this holy time. A guy who I'm sure David Suissa,
David Swiss.
Everybody knows David Suissa.
Greats of all time.
One of the greats, legend. I always quote him like every Shabbat. He said at a Shabbat dinner at his house that Shabbat is when we make time holy. And I just love that. And to me, like, that's what Shabbat is all about. And it's something everybody, I think, can relate to, especially in modern times where it's everybody's go, 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 and your life's flashing by and you're spending half your time in a screen, not knowing what's going around you. And Shabbat is put it all away. Let's think about something different. Let's talk about something different, and let's act in a way that's different.
It's inspirational. I'll tell you this, 2 books to read
Yeah.
if you haven't yet. One is Rabbi Heschel's book on the Sabbath, which is, it changed my life when I first read that, because it got me to appreciate the Sabbath. It got me to appreciate Shabbat, because I come from a commandedness sort of space like you're talking about. But even from a commanded place, like, hey, that Shabbat exists. God commanded the Jewish people to observe the Shabbat. And for me, that's a major part of my observance, but it doesn't then give meaning if I just do it out of commandedness.
Right.
So when I read Heschel's book, The Sabbath, I was blown away by how much meaning there was in Shabbat. And the other book to read is Rabbi Joseph Ber Soloveitchik. He wrote Lonely Man of Faith. And he talks about 2 different types of Adams. Adam number 1, which is the creative personality, the one who does, goes, produces. And Adam 2, the one who retreats a little bit, the one who appreciates a little bit. And when I think of Shabbat, I think of that. I think of the Adam 2, and we're so good at being Adam 1. Like, you're literally a producer, you're literally an actor, you're literally a doer. And sometimes it's to take a step back and just breathe. It's amazing.
100%. Who couldn't use more of that?
Yeah, all of us love Shabbat. Okay, I want to go into arts and your Judaism.
Yeah.
What do we get right and what do we get wrong? You have a real connection to Hollywood. What do you see when you see Jewish stories out of Hollywood? What have you seen people getting right and people getting wrong?
Great question. So my view on like what I want to be seeing out of Hollywood in terms of Jews is humanizing contemporary narratives where the Jews like being Jewish, where it's important to them, and where it's an entertaining, engaging piece of entertainment where the characters and subject matter happen to be about Jews and Jewish stuff. So an example of where we're getting it right would be something like, and I use this example all the time, is You're So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah, which was Adam Sandler and his family.
Yeah.
Not everybody's favorite movie in the world, but in terms of a piece of Jewish content, it was contemporary. Yeah. It's about a girl who isn't like, oh, my bat mitzvah is so lame, I hate it. She's like, I got to study hard for this. This is important. Right. I have great respect for this. A father who says like, we are Jews, this is what we do. Yeah. And by the end, her lesson is like, I don't need a party. That's not what it's about. It's like, my values, my friendship is so much more important. And this beautiful, like amazing. And introducing, if you're watching that, you're not a Jew, you're saying, oh, like my family has fights like that. Oh, I know teenagers like that. It's humanizing. Yeah. Exactly.
Without putting Judaism down.
Without the self-deprecating Judaism, which is typically
strange obsession with self-deprecation.
Right. Which it's like, that's the majority of the Jewish content up until recent years has been people distancing and making fun of and how lame. Right. I think it's because a lot of the Jews in Hollywood are those kinds of Jews. Yeah. And so that's what you're seeing on screen. So, I mean, that's
a good example.
To move it into what we're getting wrong, it's that kind of stuff. So
do you want to say a show?
It was this Jonah Hill movie where it was like he was going to marry a black chick. And he went to like her parents and she went to his parents. And like he needed to sort of fit in and learn about black culture. And her version of like her needing to learn about Jewish culture was Julie Louis-Dreyfus like took her to a rich white lady spa. Like that was the Jewish part. Like, and when he's at synagogue in the opening scene, it's just him like making fun of all the people in the show. I mean, like, this is so lame, I got to get out of here. Right. And like that's the message we're telling the world is like Jews don't like being Jewish, they don't like being where they are, and we're just rich white people who think being Jewish is lame. And like and we're gatekeeping this guy's relationship for like no reason. You people.
What about this show? I'm actually watching it right now.
Nobody wants this?
Yeah, nobody wants this.
So
what's your take on it?
Tell
me your take. Tell me your take. I want to tell you. I'll tell you my take right after. Not from my perspective, but from what my colleagues in the non-Jewish world, how they describe it.
That's interesting. I'd like to hear that. Yeah. So, caveat, I'm only 2 episodes into season 2. Yeah. So I can't weigh in on that one yet. I will say from like a narrative entertainment standpoint, I'm not enjoying the beginning of season 2 as much as I did season 1. But that's what happens when you don't really build a show to go multiple seasons and you have to come up with one.
This is the problem all the time. I struggle watching more than I tell my wife all the time. I only want to watch miniseries because
Right.
because if you're making shows season after season, you're just kind of making it up as you go along.
Right. It's hit and miss.
Yeah, and I just like tell me the beginning, middle, and end of a story. I'm there.
Right.
All right, but we'll get to my issues with.
Sometimes it works out. Like you look at a Breaking Bad and you're like,
okay,
that guy's
the greats.
they're great. They made it work season after season. So season 1, I actually went on my podcast. I had Jackie Tone from the show on my show to explicitly talk about how much I loved season 1 of Nobody Wants This and to defend it to all the haters. I think it's amazing, and that's another example of I don't think it's perfect.
Right.
Nothing is perfect. I don't think You're So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah is perfect.
Yeah.
But I love that there's a show that's very popular on Netflix
Yeah.
where the main character is like a cool young rabbi, where they're having Havdalah,
Yeah.
where he's going to Jewish sleepaway camp,
Yeah.
where there's a female rabbi. Like tell me another show that has any of those things in it. That there isn't one.
Yeah.
So like they don't get absolutely everything perfect, but you get to see a non-Jewish person seeing how beautiful all these Jewish traditions are, and you get to expose and humanize to an audience all these amazing facets of being Jewish.
Right.
And to me, they hooked me in the very first episode when she like gets into the car with him and she says something about, I forget the exact line, but like, oh, you guys don't look Jewish. And he's like, oh, we don't look Jewish. And like, he makes a whole thing of it in a way. I'm like, oh, we have those conversations. Like,
yes.
That's it. Like,
Yes.
this is really trying
Yes.
to be this contemporary Jewish show.
Okay.
And I love that. And I know that the biggest knock people have is on the way, especially the mother is portrayed as like the number one. But here's what I'll say about that. Now,
That's true. No, it's not. But let me hear what your issue is.
A couple things.
Your defense.
My couple defenses. One is you have to have an obstacle in a show.
Right.
Like find me this. Think of any show where two people from different cultures are trying to get married, and one of their parents isn't the one standing in the way, going, "No, you can't marry someone from that culture." Like that is a tale as old as time.
Right. That's a universal story.
That is a universal story. If there was no parent standing in the way, it would be like, okay, let's get together. Great, the show's over in 25 minutes. There's no show.
Right.
There has to be somebody standing in the way, and it just doesn't bother me. Like I see the narrative device much more, and maybe this is because I come from a writing Hollywood background. Like I'm always seeing the code through the Matrix. I don't see it as like we need to stick a jokey Jew in there. Somebody's got to be the obstacle. Somebody's got to be the villain. It makes sense. It would be the family of the Jew gatekeeping from the non-Jew. It totally makes sense. And it's not like they portray her sibling or her parents as like, oh, these are amazing people. Like her sister is like insane and weird and like mean and flawed, and her mom's a whack job, and like
that's
that's
fair. The critique today I was on a flight, and it was just funny. You walk down the aisle and you see people watching the show with like a rabbi with a kippah on his head, and you're like, this is normalizing in the United States of America, just normalizing Judaism.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, to me, that's the win. Like, take the win.
Right. So the critique that I've heard from my non-Jewish friends and colleagues is that it's kind of funny actually, and it maybe makes sense why you like it so much or defend it. They said, because you're a male, you'll hear in a second. They said that the Jewish men, after watching this, they're like, Jewish men seem awesome, and Jewish women not so awesome.
Right.
Is that's what they
Which I totally
the Jewish
get.
women seem like boring, whiny, spoiled, and the Jewish guys are like, these guys are cool. These guys are interesting.
I totally get. I totally hear that. Unfortunately, again, it's a function of the story, so much less so than we got to make. We're gonna make lame Jews. I also think, I'm always tickled by Jackie Tone and find her very charming.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me. But no, I totally hear that concern, and somebody's got to be the obstacle.
I hear it. Okay. On being Jewish with Jonah Platt, I want to hear some Jewish things from you. What is your favorite Jewish song?
Jewish song? What counts as a Jewish song?
Whatever you decide. By the way, that's a whole other video. What is Jewish culture? That we made a video on Unpacked about that before. Don't start singing Drake, for example.
I mean, when I was gonna come up was to say Tamido Hevoti.
Let me hear it.
Hashem Yitbarach Tamidu Evoti.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's
That will get
like
going.
that hypes my kids up big time.
You start going.
Oh, we're jumping under that. My daughter, it's like my daughter's favorite because we hold hands. We're jumping in a circle and she's
That's
just
a good one.
wiggling.
That's
It's like
a good
the
one.
best.
Favorite Jewish movie?
Are there any
Jewish movie?
No. Favorite Jewish movie. I'm gonna go with Menorah in the Middle, which is a holiday film I had a starring role in that is on Hulu.
Oh, everyone's got to check this out.
Which is really we're at the right time of year for it, and there's some people now who like watch it every Hanukkah, which is like so fun.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, Menorah in the Middle. Who is your favorite character in Tanakh, in the Hebrew Bible? Why?
My favorite character, it's probably got to be Moses.
You're a Moses guy.
I think so. I mean, he's the greatest leader of all time.
Yeah.
And as somebody who, is a leader, and I'm always looking for inspiration and role models, and he's a dude who had every flaw and challenge in the book and still herded the cats and made it all the way across the desert.
Yeah, one of the great things about Tanakh is that in our stories, in throughout the entire Hebrew Bible, our heroes, like you said, are not flawless. That's not who they
Right,
are.
and we talked about this on my show.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
Mhm.
I'm very into this topic
Yeah.
because they're not saints in Judaism.
Right.
They're not saints. So Moses. Okay. Let me ask you one more question about Hollywood. In the Hollywood world, I want you to rank this 1 to 10, and you can't say 7,
I was in my head. I was thinking of saying 7.
no matter what people say 7, because people hedge,
No,
or they say 6, 7.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. You have kids. I have kids.
In the Hollywood world, rank 1 to 10. You can't say 7 or 6, 7.
Okay.
How do you think the Jewish world has done with their identity since the 7th of October? Out of Hollywood, how would you rank the Jewish Hollywood actors?
Meaning the
writers,
people working in
Yeah.
how they've done
about their Jewish identity, about speaking out?
on the whole.
On the whole,
I don't know, 4.
I'm just unimpressed.
Unimpressed. I mean, for the few people who are doing it, extremely impressed and proud, and proud to call most of them friends. But it's weak. I mean, it's the same cast of characters. I can count them on 2 hands, and there's just so many more people who could be involved who are hesitating for those fear-based reasons, and I'm not even thinking about the ones who are totally disengaged. Like, we can't rely on them. They've never been engaged. It's not fair to think they would be now. But the ones who do care and still aren't doing it, that's where I take issue.
Right, because they believe in the cause. They believe in supporting the Jewish people.
They're
They
just
believe in it. They're just
happy to let somebody else do it,
or making a business decision.
or making a majority is not deeply thought business decisions.
Well, I want to get directly into that now. Let's talk about Israel.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Always.
When I say as a Jew, how do you react?
Well, 2 ways. Now I think of my friend Sarah Hurwitz's book.
Okay, good.
And which she didn't even mean in that way it's now used.
Right. Well, she the whole idea is I think she wanted to capture it from the other way it was being used.
No, she not initially. Initially, it was like just in terms of like as a Jew, here is how I like look at these things and think about these things. But then, because she started writing it before that like became a thing that it is now, where it's like you're this as a Jew, I'm going to excuse some BS things.
So your reaction is
My reaction is general, unless you're Sarah Hurwitz, when you're saying as a Jew, you're about to say some tokenizing, like negative thing that others are going to use as an argument against Jews.
What does Zionism mean to you, Jonah?
What Zionism means to me is the belief that Jews should have sovereignty, self-determination in some part of the ancestral homeland to which they are indigenous. It's a word I spoke about on my show. I wish we didn't use as much. Not just because it's been horribly co-opted and everybody uses it to mean different things now, but because it's aspirational in nature for something we already have. I don't like.
Meaning Zionism was accomplished in 1948.
Yes. So why are we still talking about it in terms of like Israel should be this? It's like Israel is this. That's great job, guys. We did it. Let's call it something else now.
Right.
It'd be like calling ourselves in America colonial patriots and not just Americans. Like, we did it. We won the war. Now we're just Americans.
So, okay, so you a little bit have an issue with the word Zionist.
Mhm.
And
Just because I don't feel like it serves us that well. But I know, certainly from talking to Israelis especially, it's like a real source of pride,
Right.
especially because within their families, like so many were the literal Zionists of that era
who built it.
built it and then who fought for it in wars in the 60s and 70s. And so like it's not going anywhere,
Well,
but I don't know that it's always so helpful.
I hear the issue in America. I want to hear a little bit more about what it means to you. Like you gave me a definition of Zionism, but what is it? What does it mean for you to be a Zionist living here in beautiful LA? Like, what does it mean? Do you identify as a Zionist?
Sure. I mean, I identify as one because that's the shorthand word that we use. But like what I identify with is being a lover and supporter of Israel.
Oh, got it.
You know,
Right.
and you know that's my place. Those are my people.
Right.
I love and support it. I'm part of the Jewish family, so of course I'm a Zionist.
Right. As being part of the Jewish family means to be part of the Jewish story, which includes around 50% of world Jewry who lives in Israel.
Yes.
Okay, I hear that. So then how do you have conversations with family members or friends who might view Israel differently than you? And what does that conversation look like? Do you have friends or family that don't identify with your approach to Zionism, which is to me sounds like, hey, and tell me, I'm putting words in your mouth right now, but hey, the Jewish state is part of the Jewish story, is part of the Jewish people. I'm here to support it. They're going to have policies I dislike. They're going to have the government members are going to say things that I abhor. But so what? So like that would be true of any place, any country. But how do you have conversations with family members or friends that maybe are okay with the Jewish people not having a Jewish state?
When
And
you
I presume you have.
Oh yeah, I've had these
It,
conversations.
so
Sure.
then how do you do these conversations?
So I think about this a lot, and there's really like a methodology to it. Excuse me. So I have what I call the four C's. They're actually five C's now. Uh, Curiosity, camaraderie, calm, compassion, Cabernet Sauvignon.
Start with a cab though.
Okay, start with the cab.
Yeah.
I like to have these conversations over a drink because from the get-go, it sets up this is two people talking. We're here in friendship. We're not standing at debate podiums.
Yeah.
We're not trying to solve the Middle East crisis.
Got it. Lower
Where
temperature.
you're my family member, you're my friend.
Right.
We're having a drink and we're discussing something the way we would discuss politics, the
Right.
way we would discuss whatever. So that's number one. Camaraderie is sort of like that in the sense that like if you say something that I find silly, I can laugh at it. Like the stakes are not so high that the conversation's like this. Like we're here to chat.
Right.
And if you say like we can be easygoing in our conversation, even when we're talking about things that are important to us.
Right.
The compassion is you have to actually sort of listen to what the other person is saying and attempt to understand and identify with and understand that if this person is your friend or family member, they were not, born in the lavas of Mordor. Like they're a human being who came to this conclusion, whether rightly or wrongly, but like it came from somewhere. Curiosity. You have to actually want to hear what this person has to say and understand it. I think that the number one mistake most people make having these conversations is we're sitting down so I can change your mind. Doesn't work, isn't going to happen. You'll get nowhere. It's going to blow up. You're going to get frustrated. Recipe for disaster.
Exactly.
You have to go in being like, I just want to hear what you have to say so I can understand it, knowing you're probably not going to get anywhere. They're probably not going to change their mind, but at least it might give you some ability to like have relief and move on with your life because at least you understand either, oh, okay, I get, I certainly don't agree, but I get where it came from because you've been influenced by this person or you read these books or, you're feeling this, whatever. Or you're like, okay, this person's like dumb and that's just the way it is. They're just not deep thinkers and I can let that go. You're not a deep thinker and you don't actually care about this that much. And you're just parroting stuff you heard, whatever it is.
Right.
It's much easier if you want to actually understand. And then the last one is calm. This is probably the second biggest mistake people make, is you come in, you're like already hot,
Right.
and like I'm here to fight,
Right.
I'm here to defend,
Yeah.
I'm here to debate you. It's gotta be chill. If you're it's already if you come in already hot, it's not gonna go well.
Yeah.
And it's, you have to think about, well, what is my intention here? Like, what am I trying to get out of this? I think is a really big thing. And I think a lot of people, if you're getting into it being like, I need to be heard,
Yeah.
it's not going to go well. It's got to be, I need to hear you.
Yeah.
Then I can also be heard. And we're going to keep it calm.
Yeah.
And what I have found with this formula is I'm able to have conversation, and then I'm able to maintain the relationships. And almost always the conversation changes nothing about their point of view. It helps me understand, okay, like I can sort of kind of write you off in terms of trying to have these discussions. Like most of the time, they're not really, in my experience, interested in getting into it deeply and like continuing this on, because these aren't really actually very important, deeply held beliefs for a lot of these people. These are people who, like, this is the narrative that they've jumped on.
Yeah.
This is what they hear, and it's something they think about 5% of their day, and very easy to say, yeah, no, that's what I think. This is what all my people think. That's it. And then you'll be like, okay, great. Well, this is really important to me. And so now that we've had this great talk, like, let's go back and forth. Let's keep it going. Let's see how we go. And they just like don't really care to. They've like made up their mind, and they got other things that are more important, and they don't actually want to keep engaging on it. But at least you like did what you could do, and you can feel good that like I had the talk. When we're together in a non-Israel related setting, we can hang out, we can do a thing, and I'll just know that like this road is sort of blocked to us, and maybe that moves us down a tier of closeness in my heart or whatever, but it's not going to blow up our relationship, and it's not going to end the world, and it's not going to end the crisis, and we're going to be all right.
I have so much to say about that. Everything that you just said. For a much longer conversation another time.
Yeah.
Just the one thing I will jump on is what you said about persuasiveness. One of the challenges, and I fall into this trap all the time, is that we tend to think that if I'm right about everything, whatever the thing is, then people will be like, oh my God, you were right about everything. You know what? I will change my mind. Thank you so much for enlightening me with your wisdom. Right? That is not the way people are typically persuaded. What you said about modeling, you didn't use this word, but I think in some ways it's partially what you mean, is humility. If you are able to engage, if I'm able to engage in a conversation with somebody and model curiosity, model being interested, model that I don't have all the answers, then I call this Newton's third law. Newton's third law is every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So if I engage in a certain way with somebody and I'm able to lower the temperature, drink Cabernet when we're thirsty, make sure that, shout out to my buddy Rafi. And just chill out, then what can happen is the reverse will happen as well. You're able to induce chilling out from the other person as well, as opposed to if you try to persuade and push, then there's an equal and opposite reaction. They're going to resist, dig their heels in. That's what I see in relationships in general, not just about Israel stuff, but relationships in general.
Right. If you like sub it out for, let's say it's politics, it's like your friend is a Democrat and you're a Republican, you're probably not going to get them to change political parties and ideologies in this conversation. What's important is that you feel like sort of heard and seen by each other, and that you can just like keep being friends and like agree to disagree.
Right. Okay, good. All right. So that's Zionism. That's Israel. I have like lots more to talk about this, but I want to talk about the Jewish future a little bit. I want to know, what's an example of you spoke earlier about Jewish peoplehood and feeling a real connection to the Jewish people, and that from a religious perspective, that there's more of a coercion, perhaps vertically, that you're like, I'm not so interested in that. What is a Jewish law that you struggle with?
A Jewish law
that
I struggle with?
A Jewish teaching, a Jewish law, something that you're like, I want to, like, I don't know, on Sarita, I'm struggling with this one.
Yeah, I would say there's a couple.
Okay.
The way that we halachically are taught to engage with non-Jews is something I struggle with. I had a Haredi guy on my podcast, and we sort of got into some of the laws around, like, very literally saying, like, you're not really supposed to fraternize with them beyond a certain level, uh, because you might become enticed, and it might open the gates, and
Right.
you might, move out of the community or intermarry or whatever it is. And I have some issues around.
Uncomfortable with that.
I'm
But
uncomfortable
what would
with.
you say to someone who says, Jonah, I totally get why you're uncomfortable with that, but 72% of non-Orthodox Jews in the United States of America don't marry Jewish.
Right. This is what we talked about.
Okay.
And I was like, well, like, I was like, dude, like, I'm a perfect example. Like,
Yeah.
I went out and I brought a Jew in, because and he was like, you're the exception. You're not
Yeah.
the rule. Like, the numbers show
Yeah.
that, like, they're not, most people aren't like
Right.
you, which is fair enough. And
Right.
so I get it. But I can't help but feel like there's got to be another way to safeguard what needs to be safeguarded while also not, you know, othering each
Right.
other so
Yeah.
much.
And do you feel as though that alienation of Jewish people from non-Jewish people creates a friction that is a feature in some ways of the relationship, not a bug, which needs to therefore be improved?
Yes, exactly. I think if you're by nature being like, we're gonna stay separate from you,
Right.
you're gonna have issues. I
Right.
mean, it's just you're drawing a line, even if it's a soft line, people feel it.
Right.
And if you're trying to integrate into the fabric of a world and be like, hey, we're Jews, we're here, we're not going anywhere, we want to be integrated.
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily mean entirely assimilated, but integrated.
Yeah.
So I'm using that word. Like, we have to be careful about
Yeah.
drawing that line.
Yeah. Give me the aspect of Judaism that's what you struggle with the most. Earlier you said Shabbat is something that excites you. Is that your favorite thing in Judaism? Would you say, or is there something within peoplehood that really gets your juices going? Is there something in that, like, when you think about Judaism, when you think about your family, is there a holiday, a moment, something about Judaism where you're like, I am so darn proud to be part of the Jewish people?
Mm. Well, it's not a holiday or a moment, but I could name holidays and moments. I mean, the way that we handle life cycle events, I think, is awesome. It all comes down to, as we were talking about earlier, like, that intentionality and that, like, giving meaning to everything. I mean, you look at a wedding ceremony, you look at the way we deal with death, like, each little piece has been so thought out to really mean something and to be there for a reason and to add such depth to all of these big life moments. And then the other thing that popped into my mind was just the way that we're like one kind of big Jewish family.
Yeah.
Like, Jews are always looking out for other Jews and thinking about other Jews and relating to other Jews they've never met.
Yeah.
And that's very unique. And the way that Jews show up for each other is very unique. And that certainly makes me proud and feel grateful to be a part of it.
I love it. I want to do something kind of ridiculous. I want to read to you some of your Apple comments on being Jewish.
Let's do it.
Okay, you ready for this?
Yeah.
I'll read to you a couple. I want to get your reaction to them. Ready? Number 1, from iDoc852.
What's up, iDoc?
He says, or she says, I don't know, I love this podcast. 5 stars, exclamation point. Jonah Platt feels like a friend, and I love how he interviews these guests. By the end of each episode, I feel like I have a new friend, and I'm so grateful for this podcast, especially during such a critical time. Thank you to the entire On Being Jewish team. What do you react to that? What's your reaction?
I love that, but there's no on. It's just called being Jewish.
Oh, well, iDoc852.
He wrote on being Jewish too?
Yeah.
Come on.
Unbelievable.
iDoc.
So now you're upset at iDoc.
iDoc's got to get his eyes checked.
Yeah, nice, nice. All right, let me read another one to you. Those monologues, ... Sir. Yes, sir. I don't know how much time you spend writing your monologues, but they're fantastic. Even friends who don't like podcasts, I send them your episodes, and I'm like, dude, I know you don't like podcasts, but at least listen to the first 5 minutes. Gets them every time. He didn't say it with that intonation, but that's how I read it.
I love it.
It's been delightful to follow you on your journey with this show. Thank you for all you do.
That's so nice. I love that. I mean, I put a lot of work into those. They take many hours a week. And, like, what day is it today? It's a Tuesday. I'm already stressing because, like, I got to write one and record it basically by Sunday. And right now I have nothing.
You'll have something.
I will, but it's just like, man, it's like I got to write a sermon every single week. It's just
Rabbi Jonah Platt.
we're getting there.
How about this one? This is from March 27th. Jim Ohio 1 writes, whining Nepo baby.
Oh, yeah.
1 star. I guess the answer to being Jewish per this podcast is lack of self-awareness coupled with lack of talent. But if you have a connected creepy Hollywood dad, you can have a podcast.
I know it. It's this. Okay. So this is very clear. I can't get into this. But this is.
This person has it? You know this person?
No, but this is based on the timing and the words he used. This is somebody who came to hate on me as a result of something that happened in the world outside of this podcast, for which I got a lot of crap. And this guy's definitely dumping on me for that.
Yeah, I'm always when I want to cry and look at my podcast reviews, and my wife and the people write like sometimes the meanest things. Just
People are so.
Why are you spending time? It's so interesting. My personality would be if I didn't like something, I'd be like, I'd just stop listening.
Right.
But people are like,
I have to make sure you know how much I didn't like it. It's something here.
Good for the ego though, Jonah. You know what? It's good.
It knocks you down.
Knocks you down.
Well, so on the Sarah Hurwitz episode I did recently, I made a joke that I was like, I think people would understand Jews more. Maybe if instead of Israel, it was called Jewland. Making a joke, and especially that's sort of like the dummies version of what a country could be called.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many comments I got. People they're like, it's called Judea.
Oh.
And I'm like, yeah, I know it's called Judea. It's like the spelling, it's the thing. Like I was making a joke.
Yeah.
And so many people think I must be a freaking moron and don't know that Judea is a thing.
Right.
And I'm like, guys,
just take it down.
3
notches.
You see,
have some Cabernet.
Have some Cabernet. See how she's cracking up when I say Jewland, and we put it on the screen.
Yeah.
It's like it's a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah. Okay. Just give me your last Jonah Platt reflections about life right now.
Oh gosh.
What do you think? What are you thinking right now? What does the future look like for us, Jonah?
I think the future is bright. I think
You feel good about it?
I do feel good about it. Yeah. I feel like there's enough people engaged. I think we have our obstacles to overcome internally that are we're getting in the way of ourselves. Let me put it that way. I think if as a Jewish community we smoothed out our issues, those being, not being inclusive enough, infighting, 700 organizations trying to do the same thing. I mean, we were just talking about how every night there's 50 different events that are all competing with each other. If we could smooth that stuff out and get more united and focused, and it makes me think of my a cappella group in college.
What was that?
Our it's called Off the Beat. And we would get into this formation, like a small arc, and we would talk energetically about trying to be like the Death Star. If you can picture from Star Wars, the Death Star has that big circular spaceship, and then that big laser beam shoots right out of the center of it.
Yeah.
And so as Jews, we need to be more like the Death Star,
where
we're all focused inward together, and then that one solid beam is shooting out.
Love it.
That's certainly what the other side's doing, and
I hear it.
We got to do that on our
From
side.
that analogy, it feels like we had different interests in high school and college, but I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
You were a sports guy.
I like it. I
was the arts guy.
You're an arts guy. I love it. And look at us both doing similar things now.
Yep.
It's pretty incredible.
Whatever you do in high school and college means nothing.
Yeah, that's a good lesson. My final reflection is, Jonah, we need more people like you. We need many more people like you, people who deeply care about the Jewish story, deeply care about the Jewish future, are struggling, are thinking, meaning you're a thinking Jew. You're someone who is asking the right questions, exploring the right issues, not settling for your understanding of Judaism from 15, 20 years ago, but wanting to grow your understanding of Judaism. And frankly, being out there proud with your Jewish identity, probably in a place that not everyone around you is so proud with their Jewish identity. But you're saying, hey, this is part of who I am. I want to be out there. I want to teach. And while you might not be Rabbi Jonah Platt, you are an educator, and you're using your platform, your microphone, to teach the world about Judaism. So thank you so much for everything that you do. And it's an honor to have you on Wondering Jews.
That's very kind. It's been an honor to be here and a pleasure as always.